The Honourable Ernest Wong.
So, Madam Deputy President, I thank the Honourable Charlie Lynn for his comments on October 20th regarding a petition I tabled on September 19. The petition criticised Prime Minister Abbott's remarks made in July on the honour of Japanese soldiers in World War II. It is a petition which I would have thought was neither surprising nor remarkable. After all, Mr. Abbott's remarks were widely reported and widely criticised. One only need to scan the headlines and editorials of that time. Not even the more ardent supporter would argue this was his finest hour. Given that Japanese aggression and atrocity was focused on the forebears of our Asian Australian communities, it is hardly surprising that many of those Australians took offence. Some of those citizens availed themselves of the right to bring that offence to this House's attention, and I duly tabled their petition. As I said, neither surprising nor remarkable in any way. Yet Mr. Lynn did remark on it, and his response is remarkable in a number of ways. Mr. Lynn argued that by tabling a petition which refers to the offence by Asian Australians at Mr. Abbott's remarks, petitioners were neglecting Australian servicemen and women.
But you didn't mention them.
Madam Deputy President, I find Mr. Lynn's argument here illogical. It is no more reasonable to suggest that a petition by Jewish Australians on public comments made about German soldiers would neglect the troops of the European campaign. In fact, I think that if a member made such a suggestion, they might be widely condemned. Madam Deputy President, I also note that the petitioner's remarks are in fact entirely consistent with the views of Australian ex-servicemen and women, as expressed by the peak body, the RSL. New South Wales President Don Rao and National President Ken Doolan were unambiguously critical of the Prime Minister's remarks. So the petitioners are in unison with the RSL. I also find it personally offensive that Mr. Lynn would suggest neglect on my part to the memory of Australian troops. I informed the House that I was chair of Sandakan Education Committee for 6 years at Bill Council, and have been a long-time advocate of educating young Australians on the history of World War II and the sacrifice of Australian soldiers. I was therefore most surprised when Mr. Lynn argued that instead of reflecting on the atrocities of Japanese troops, I should, if I'm Dinkin, focus my concerns on the activities of Australian waterside workers in World War II. Mr. Lynn argued that their actions were more worthy of my condemnation than the atrocities of Japanese troops, and read into Hansard the extraordinary opinion that waterside workers were responsible for more hardships, shortages and death than the Japs. Madam Deputy President, I strongly disagree with the assessment.
Point of order.
Order. The Honourable Charlie Lynn on a point of order.
Madam Deputy President, I was quoting a veteran of World War II and its authorship, but he's verbling. Oh, shut up.
Order.
I was quoting from Hal Kovish's book, The Secret War, Sabotage of World War II. And I suggest you read it and authenticate the quote. You're quite wrong, Mr. Wong.
Order. There's no point of order. The Honourable.
Thank you, Madam Deputy President. Madam Deputy President, I strongly disagree with that assessment. Mr. Lynn concluded his remarks by condemning those who seek to use multiculturalism as an instrument of division, adding, if they do not like it, leave. Madam Deputy President, I do not know to whom Mr. Lynn was directing his remarks. The petitioners who had brought this matter to this House are descendants of those who suffered directly at the epicenter of Japanese atrocities, which are well documented, and for what there's no formal apology ever made. This is a matter of history. That very point was made RSL National President Ken Doolan in Daily Telegraph on July 10th. In fact, Mr. Doolan highlighted the slaughter of 300,000 Chinese civilians in Nanjing as an example of Japanese actions which were not honourable at all. The petitioners are no more diverse than the President of RSL, as they are making precisely the same point. I trust Mr. Lynn agrees. For the House information, the petitioner did approach the RSL about co-signing the petition and, in the absence of a reply, choose not to refer to Australian servicemen and women out of respect for not having the agreement of the RSL to do so. That is the reason for the petition being worded as it is, respect for the RSL and the legacy it represents. And this Mr. Lynn, who had taken a position that is in opposition to the RSL President, the Prime Minister, for his leadership. Madam Deputy President, the only division is...
Order. The honourable member's time has expired.